If you would like to change the trajectory of your life, you are watching the right video. Welcome back to the Josh Forti Show. It's interesting. I watched the Super Bowl last night where Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, the Kansas City Chiefs, defeated the 49ers in the Super Bowl in overtime. It was a sad day. I was rooting for the 49ers, although, you kind of expected the Chiefs to win. Anyway, I remember 5 years ago, I was watching that same game, right? The Super Bowl 5 years ago, and I was about $55,000 in debt. I had just hired a mindset coach for $60,000. I didn't have $60,000, so I financed it. I had put $5,000 down, so I owed $55,000. I had no direction in my life or business. My wife, girlfriend at the time, but soon to be wife, was sick with an intestinal eating parasite, very, very sick, in and out of the hospital. And I was at a very, very lost place in life, right? And I remember those days very, very clearly. I remember watching the Super Bowl. I remember feeling a certain way about life. And 12 months later, I had a completely different life. 12 months later, I had moved into a new apartment, very nice corner unit apartment overlooking, having a mountain view, bought 2 new cars. I had paid off all of my debt. 12 months after that, I had made over $500,000 that year. And I'll tell you, during that time, I didn't learn any special, revolutionary skill, if you will, right? Like I didn't invent AI. I didn't come up with something that had never been done before, but rather I simply hired a coach. I put my head down and I did the boring, disgusting, painful, I don't want to do this work. I woke up every day and did the things that I hated to do. I created crazy, insane self-discipline through, having a coach hold me accountable and help me rethink and reimagine what I thought of myself, recreate my identity. I went and I set targets that were impossible, but also realistic at the same time. Impossible seeming for me at the time, but realistic. And 4 months after I started, I had my first $100,000 day. I had my first $150,000 week, and the trajectory of my life forever changed. And the reason I say any of that or share any of that is my point is you are literally 12 to 24 months away from a completely and radically and utterly changed life. Right now, depending upon where you're at right now, I don't know where you're at, but I know that, in a 12-month period of time, even if that you're at your lowest of lows, you can turn something around, you can turn your life around, and you can create momentum. And sometimes it literally takes a good 6 to 12 months just to turn your life around and create the momentum, right? Sometimes it can go faster than that, right? But really, realistically speaking, no matter where you're at, no matter how much debt you have, no matter how low your life is, no matter the mistakes that you made, as long as you are able to wake up and go out into the world and work, right, you can fundamentally, radically change the trajectory of your life in 12 months and create enough momentum to where the next 12 months in a 24-month time frame, right, you can be at such a radically different place in your relationships, in whether that be your marriage or your friendships, in your financial situation, in your health situation. And what's interesting is I feel like I'm in the middle of that journey right now again. Right? About 6 months ago, I decided, about 12 months ago, 18 months ago now, right? Between 12 and 18 months ago now, I decided that I was shutting down my business. I decided that the direction that I was going in life was not where I felt called to. And I spent the next 6 months figuring out what God wanted from me. I recommitted my life to Christ. I shut down, a business that was doing about $1 million a year, right? And I completely shut that down. And about 6 months ago, I was like, okay, I know what I'm called to do, and I'm ready to put my head down and start to do the work. And 6 months later, if you fast forward to today, the momentum that has been created by doing painful work, very painful work, right? Cutting out things, finishing projects that were way overdue, right? Having to fix past relationships, having to apologize for things, having to go and just going and actually doing the boring work and putting my head down, and then hiring Dan Henry, a coach, another coach, right? And going and launching Golden Mike Mastery. And, in 60 days into that, helping our clients sell over $500,000, over $600,000 now, landing dozens and dozens of new clients, building the program, having to film many of the videos and trainings in there 3, 4, 5, 6 times in order to get them right? Head down, do the work type crap, right? And I feel like the momentum has started to pick up and started to shift. And in another 6 months from now, and in another 12 months from now, right, I'm going to be at a radically different financial spot than I was 6 months ago. Not that 6 months ago I was in a bad spot, but like it will be radically different than where I was 6 months ago. And so I share all that. I say all that to say, no matter where you're at, whether you're at a low point in life and everything sucks, maybe you're at a point in your life where things are comfortable, right? And things are going well. And but you want to make that next step. Maybe there's problems in your business that you need to fix and your marriage is going great. Maybe there's problems in your marriage and your business is going great. Whatever that looks like for you, I firmly, truly believe that if you get the right coach, I'm a huge believer in mentors. I've spent well over $400,000 of my own money on coaches and mentors, right? If you get the right coach, you cut out all the other distractions, you commit, you set your target, you go all in, you get your spouse on board, you get your kids on board if you've got them, you get whoever you got to get on board, you cut out everybody else, that in a 6 to 12 month time frame, like you can revolutionize and change your life. Right. And I know this, by the way, if you're an entrepreneur, if you sell, info products, if you sell services or whatever online, like I know that anybody that comes into my world, I can transform their life and help them make a few $100,000 in a year's time frame in profit without a problem. Right. Like it's not uncommon for the people that I work with to go and do that. We had a guy, do $200,000 in sales in 2 weeks. We had somebody else come in and in 35 days do $170,000. A guy come in and raise his offer from $2,000 to $30,000 in a couple of weeks and actually go and sell it multiple times. And I say that to go, I didn't always believe that radical transformation was possible, but I do believe radical transformation is possible when you have the right coach. Because I know when I coach with people, or I coach people, I should say, I can transform their life. Right? And I know that when I coach with my coaches, my life gets transformed. And so if you're struggling to see, like, how could I possibly transform my life? How could I possibly get the results that I want to, get? Understand that number one, it's going to take a ridiculous amount of commitment. Like the amount of sacrifice that I have had to make and struggles that I've had to go through to get here are insane. Also, number two is get a coach, get a mentor, get somebody that can help you get there, because I would not be where I'm at today without the coaches and the mentors that I've had. I wouldn't have been able to stay focused. I wouldn't have pushed through. I would have failed at some point. I would have quit. But because I had the right people around me, because I paid for the help to be committed to that, my life was able to change. So that's kind of my message here this morning. Your life can change quickly no matter where you're at, no matter how dark it seems, or how good it seems and you feel too comfortable. Either one of those situations, your life can change very, very quickly if you put your head down and do the work. All right, the world's a crazy place. We're in an election year. It's not going to get any easier. It's only going to get crazier. Now's the time to commit and make a change to this. That is all I've got for you today. By the way, we changed the name to the Josh Forti Show, as you might have noticed. Josh Forti Show is in full effect. This is the finalized name that we have gone with after playing around with a couple of different names. We've got a 5-day challenge that's coming up called the No Ads Challenge, which is going to just absolutely crush and help you, get high-ticket clients without ads. But we're making some changes. We're making some shifts, and you'll continue to see this momentum over the course of the next several weeks, months, and years. And hopefully that my life, I try to put this out there and share where I'm at and what I'm going through, to be an inspiration, and not only that, to document my thoughts and journey through this process as well. So happy Monday. Hope you're off to an amazing day, and we will see you on the next episode.